Hello again, everyone. This is Professor Ruhi. As promised, I am going to show you the two tools that we talked about in class on Wednesday, the Dapper tool and Yahoo Pipes. Those are both the mashup tools that we talked about in class, and the objective of showing you these tools is to demonstrate how simple these tools are to use. And these are by no means the only tools available online today for creating mashups, but a lot of tools are similar. They are graphical user interface based, and they're very simple to use by anybody who has a little bit of time on their hands to figure them out. I'm going to follow the two same use case examples that we had in class. For the Dapper tool, what I'm going to do is go to one of the news websites that I frequent quite a bit. And from that news website, I'm going to fetch the information that I'm interested in, create an RSS feed out of that information, and that RSS feed I could use in any way that I want. You have experience now with incorporating RSS feeds into wiki spaces. If you wanted to do that, you could, by all means, do something similar. Or if you just wanted to fetch that information from the website and present it a little differently, that's the other option. So in my first use case, what I'm going to do is go to this website called TechCrunch, which I really like. I actually use it a lot to keep track of my tech news. I frequent it maybe 3-4 times a week just to sort of catch up on technology related news, and there are specific parts of the website that I use more often. One of the things which I'm going to do in this example is search for the information that I'm interested in. So let's say that I want to search for mobile applications and any news that's related to that. So I could just simply type that up in the search bar here and see what comes up. So whatever search results I get, these are the search results that I want to use as an RSS feed. So what I want to do, again, we've talked about push information. So what I want to do is have this information pushed to me on a regular basis. So anytime there's a news story popping up on this website related to mobile applications, I want to know about it. So what I want to do is use these search results and create a feed out of these search results. Now, unfortunately, if you look at the search results page, there really isn't an RSS feed available for these search results. And even if there was, it would take a little bit of time to figure out how to use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own feed from these search results. For that, I'm going to use the Dapper tool. Again, the website for that is open.dapper.net. Feel free to create your own account on that website to try the tool yourself. It's a very simple to use tool. I would classify Dapper as a mashup creation tool which works either at the data level or at the presentation level. So you can extract data from websites, you could repurpose it, restructure it in terms of what you want to get out of that data. And you can present that information in various ways, as we're going to see in a bit. So I already have an account, but if you don't have an account, you could create one on the website. And once you've created an account and logged in, all you need to do is click on this link called Create a New DApp. So they're just using the word DApp, but basically what we're doing in this case is creating a mashup from a different website. So one of the things that we need to tell Dapper at the on the outset is the URL where we want to fetch that information from. I already have that open up in a different tab, so I'm just going to copy this URL into this box here, and it gives me various options for the output that I want from it. Now, don't worry about this at this point. We're just going to use the default options for the most part, so I'm going to click on the next step. What this does, and again, it's going to keep popping up the window for a demo, so I'm just going to keep closing it. What this does is it opens up the page that you've just asked it to open up in its own browser. So basically this is the Dapper browser, and what you can do is you can use this page as a sample and extract the information from that page that you're interested in. So I'm just going to click on Add as a Sample and click on Next Step. Once you click on Next Step, don't worry about the pop-up messages, you can skip them. Once you click on Next Step, Dapper analyzes the page for you, and once it's done its analysis, it allows you to choose different parts of the page as you desire. So based on the information that you want from this page, based on the information that you want to extract from this page, you can highlight different areas on that web page. So what I'm interested in from this page is to get the headlines for the different news stories. So I'm going to try to highlight all the headlines. Once I click on one of the headlines, it tries to guess what I'm interested in, so it should automatically highlight all the other headlines on that page, and it has done that, so I could see that. It might have highlighted something else for me. There are typically 20 items per page, but I see that there are 21 items highlighted. So if there are any extra items that it's highlighted, you can uncheck those. So right now it's highlighted this part, which I don't want, so I'll just uncheck this. So now there are 20 items highlighted on this page, which I think is what I want, and you can verify that in this area of the window over here where it tells you what it's highlighted. Alright, so you could save this field, give it a name. So I'm just going to call these item headlines, and I'm going to save that. Right, so that's the first field of information that I'm interested in extracting out of this page. The other piece of information which I'm interested in is the date on which that news story was published. So let me try and select the dates from this page. Right, so I'm going to click on one date, and hopefully it's going to select all the dates for me. I see that it's selected 17 items. Let's verify that it selected all the dates. For some of the items, maybe there are no dates. That's why it's telling me that there are 17 items selected right now. For example, over here for this news story, there is no published date, so it's not selecting anything there, which is fine, but I think for the most part it has selected all the dates for me. So I'm happy with the results that it's selected for me. I'm going to save this field, call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it item published date. Right, so that's the second piece of information that I want to extract out of this page. The third piece of information that I want is the name of the author for that news story, if available. Alright, so I'm going to try and select the first author name and hope that it selects every author name that appears on that page. It looks like it did, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to save that field as item author name. Okay, once I do that, those are the three pieces of information that I wanted to get. For every news story, I want to have the headline, I want to have the published date, and I also want to know the name of the author who wrote that news story. Okay, so with that, I'm going to move on to the next step. And the next step is just to tell this application how you want to structure this information. Now that you've extracted the information, how do you want to structure it? Do you want to group it in some way? In this particular case, things are pretty simple. We're going to group all the three items together. So I'm going to select all three items here, and I'm going to give a name to this group. Alright, so this is a news entry. So basically what I'm saying right now is that a news entry basically consists of a headline, the name of the author, and the published date. Those are three things that I want to see in every news entry. That is how I want to display my information once I get a data feed out of this page. I go on to the next step. I give my DApp a name, give it whatever name you want. So in this case, I'm just going to call it TechCrunch Mobile Headlines. Right, give it a description, whatever you want. Right, so I'm just going to copy paste the exact same thing. It's always recommended that you give tags, but I'm going to skip that step for now. I'll make this DApp private so that it's not listed on the main website, and I'll save my work. So basically what this has done is it creates a mashup for you where you've extracted data out of a page. Now the next step is for you to tell this application what do you want to do with that extracted information. So how do you want to present it? How do you want to output this information? And you have various choices for this. You could choose different formats. You could choose an RSS feed format. You can choose an HTML format if you want to embed this into a web page. If you were working with geographic data, maybe you want to use a Google map and display different geographic locations on a Google map. In this case, that doesn't apply to us. So there are various options available for formatting your output. You can also create a Flash widget, which you can embed in your web pages if you're interested in that. In my case, what I'm simply going to do is I'm going to create a Google Gadget out of this information. Now, if you're not familiar with Google Gadgets, they're very simple gadgets that you can have on your Google home pages. So let me just open a different tab here just to show you my current Google home page, where I have all of these different Google gadgets. I have my bookmarks, I have my Gmail being displayed, I have my calendar, and a whole bunch of other gadgets that I'm displaying on my Google homepage. So maybe one of the things that I want to do is display these headlines from TechCrunch as well. So what I'm going to do is, in Dapper, I'm going to choose a format as a Google Gadget. That's how I want my output. Click on the Go button, and now you are ready to say how you want to display this information as a Google Gadget. So there are some options under advanced options that you can play around with. There are different templates that are available. So for now, let's choose the table template. It tries to generate a preview for you, so this is what the Google Gadget is going to look like. If you're happy with what that looks like, you can click on Add to iGoogle. Alright, so you can add that to your iGoogle page, and it will appear directly on the page itself. Alright, so let's click on that. It will confirm with me that I want to actually add this gadget to my iGoogle homepage. I click on the button to verify and confirm. As soon as I do that, it takes me back to my Google page, and somewhere on that Google page, let me just refresh this. Yeah, once I refresh it, that's where the TechCrunch headlines appear, right? So on the top right hand side, this is basically what I just did. I went to the TechCrunch website, I fetched some information from it through a search query, and now the results of that query are being displayed on my Google page in real time. So anytime there's anything new that gets published on the TechCrunch website, which has something to do with mobile applications, the search query gets that information and it displays it for me as a headline within the Google Gadget right here. So that is the concept of push information. So I don't have to pull this information, I don't have to go to the TechCrunch website a couple of times a week just to get this information from it. This information is now going to get pushed to me. So I created a mashup. This is a very simple example of a search mashup, or from a layer perspective, this is something that works at the data layer and the presentation layer, because what you're doing is you're fetching data from a website and you're presenting it in the form of a Google Gadget. All right, so that's what this particular example is all about. So that was the first example that we talked about in class. The second example that I showed you was with this tool called Yahoo Pipes. And the example that I showed in class with Yahoo Pipes was, again, a very simple example where I was trying to merge two RSS feeds together and making an aggregate feed, if that is what I'm interested in. So for this specific example, let's look at another use case here. So one of the things which I like to do is keep up again with my tech news. So on the BBC website, for example, I can go into the technology section for the website. So this is bbc.co.uk/news/technology. That's the website there. Now this particular website does have an RSS feed, so there is an RSS button right there. So if you click on that, excuse me, if you click on that, it actually shows you the RSS feed for tech news on the BBC website. Similarly, the other website which is useful for technology news is the Ziff Davis website. And one of the things I like to do on this website is read the reviews for different technologies and different applications and hardware that's coming out. So under reviews, you can actually subscribe to the RSS feed for reviews. So if you are interested in merging two RSS feeds together, so let me just click on this RSS feed first, and it opens up it should open up the RSS feed for me. So if you are interested in merging two feeds together and getting an aggregate feed, there are tools available that can allow you to do that. So the tool that I'm going to use is Yahoo Pipes. So the website for that is pipes.yahoo.com. mashups.com. Again, if you have a Yahoo account, that should work fine. So once you go to that site, you can sign in with your Yahoo account, and you can create a new pipe. Right? So the concept of a pipe is something that comes from computer science people. A pipe is considered to be an abstract notion of input and output. So input goes out one end of the pipe, output comes out the other end. So that's one of the ways to think about this specific tool. Again, this tool can be very simple to use if you want to do something simple with it, but it has some advanced modules for those of you who are into programming and development and things like that. You might want to explore this a little bit more. It is a pretty advanced tool in terms of integrating different types of websites together, different types of data feeds together as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask it to fetch a feed for me. So I'm just going to drag this fetch feed component onto my canvas. And the first feed that I'm going to fetch is from the BBC website. So I'm just going to copy the URL into this box here. And the second feed that I want to fetch, so I'm going to drag another component for fetch feed. And the second feed that I'm fetching is from this website, from Ziff Davis. So I'm going to click on that. All right, so I'm going to copy and paste the URL into this. Okay, so what will happen now is it'll try to fetch the feed from both of these websites. I can verify that it is actually getting some information by just clicking on that component and looking at the output. So yes, there is some output associated with this component. Similarly, click on this component, there is some output. Let's see, let's refresh it. Hopefully there will be some output from that feed as well. Yep, there is some output there. So what I can do is, under operators, there is an operator called union. So you can drag that operator into the canvas, and this allows you to create a union between two things. So two data feeds or any other sources of information that you have, and all you need to do is just connect these different components into that operator right there. Okay, so basically what I'm doing now is I'm saying whatever output you're getting from this component, combine that with whatever output you're getting from this component, and that becomes your overall output from this application. Right? So your overall output is going to be an aggregate feed that is a combination of both of those other RSS feeds from those two different websites. I'm going to save this. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it aggregate technology feed. I'll save this, and once I'm done with saving that information, I can run this pipe. So you can click on run pipe just to see what information you're getting out of that application now. So what does your mashup output actually look like? So it runs it, and it basically provides you with a list of all the news stories from both of these websites combined. All right, so this is an aggregate feed that you're getting out of both of these websites. Again, one of the things which you can do at this point is, what do you want to do with this output? You can create an RSS feed that's based on this output. So basically this is an RSS feed of two combined RSS feeds together. So that's one thing that you can do. Or again, you can add this to your Google page. Or if you click under more options, you can actually add this to any of these different types of websites as well. Alright, so this is again an example of another tool that allows you to create mashups. This is a more advanced tool, but what I wanted to show you is that the tool is very, very user-friendly. It has a graphical user interface. It requires little or no programming at all. It just requires you to play around with the tool a little bit. And play around with the different components that you can use to create mashups. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it is a graphical user interface. It's easy to use, and that is one advantage of using mashups in a personal as well as in an enterprise context, that anybody virtually can get a hang of these tools once they play around with it a little bit. So those are the two tools that I showed in class. the other day. Hopefully this is clear to you. And like I said, you should reflect upon how easy and how simple the process of creating these mashups is. And you should also think about the types of mashups that I've just created in these examples. Both of these examples are about data mashups and presentation mashups. We've fetched data from different websites and we've presented it a little differently, but these tools can also be used at more advanced levels to create different types of mashups. Alright, hopefully this is clear and you've enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or ask me in class. Alright, thanks.